When your parrot attacks one specific person in the house, do you actually know what that means? Most people assume it's simple. Maybe your parrot just doesn't like them. Maybe that person moved too fast or scared them once. But behind that aggression, there's something deeper that most owners miss. It's actually one of the most emotionally loaded behaviors a parrot can show. And if you misunderstand it, which most owners do, you might accidentally make the problem worse and damage the trust your bird has built with someone else. Let's start with what that behavior really means. 1. It's not random aggression, it's loyalty. Have you ever noticed that the attacks aren't random? Your parrot might step up sweetly for one person, cuddle with them, even preen their hair. But the moment another person walks into the room, the bird lunges, screams, or bites. Most people think this means the parrot is just being aggressive or territorial. But here's what's actually happening. Your parrot has formed a bond hierarchy. In the wild, parrots live in tightly bonded flocks where relationships are ranked. They choose preferred partners, allies, and companions. And inside your home, your parrot has recreated that system. One person becomes their primary flock partner, and everyone else, they become potential competition. So when your parrot attacks that one specific person, it's not random anger, it's protection of a bond. Think about that for a second. Your bird isn't just reacting, they're defending the relationship they believe matters most. And here's what most people don't realize. Sometimes, the more your parrot loves one person, the more aggressively they reject another. And that becomes even clearer when we look at the science behind parrot bonding. 2. Parrots bond like mates, not just pets. Have you ever wondered why parrots sometimes choose one person and ignore everyone else? Most owners assume it's just preference, like a favorite human. But here's what's actually happening. Parrots form pair bonds. A 2015 behavioral study from the University of Vienna on parrot social cognition found that many parrot species form long-term partnerships that resemble monogamous mating bonds. In the wild, these bonds are incredibly strong. Partners eat together, preen each other, defend each other. They even coordinate movements in flight. And when your parrot chooses one human as their bonded partner, your bird's brain often processes that relationship in the same emotional category as a mate. Think about that for a second. Which means when another person suddenly approaches that bonded human, your parrot doesn't see a harmless interaction. They see a rival. Researchers who study parrot behavior call this pair bond jealousy. And this is where it gets even more powerful. Because your bird isn't just defending a person, they're defending what they believe is their partner. And that brings us to a quieter behavior most owners overlook. And hey, if this is helping you understand your parrot on a deeper level, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the Parrot Guide, because this channel exists for one simple reason: to help parrot owners stop guessing and start truly understanding what their birds are feeling. Every like and every subscription helps us reach more people who want to build real trust with their parrots, not just manage their behavior. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. 3. Your parrot is claiming someone. Have you ever noticed your parrot gently nibbling someone's ear, preening their hair, or rubbing their beak against their skin? Most people think it's just affection. But here's what's actually happening. Your parrot is marking a social bond. Birds don't have scent glands like cats, but parrots spread subtle oils from their uropygial gland during grooming and preening. When a parrot preens another bird, they're doing more than cleaning feathers. They're reinforcing the partnership. They're saying, in the language of birds, you belong in my circle. So when your parrot preens your hair, nibbles your shirt, or rubs their beak against you, they're including you in their social unit. Now imagine what happens when someone else approaches that person. From your parrot's perspective, someone is getting too close to their flock partner, and that's when the lunging starts. Think about that for a second. What looks like aggression may actually be a bird trying to protect a relationship they believe is exclusive. And hey, if this makes sense to you, hit like and subscribe. It helps us reach more cat lovers who actually want to understand what their cat is really saying. For this behavior comes from ancient survival instincts. Here's where it gets even more fascinating. Parrots didn't invent this behavior in your living room. It comes from millions of years of survival. In the wild, parrots rely on pair bonding not just for reproduction, but for protection. Bonded partners watch for predators. They warn each other of danger. They share food sources. Behavioral scientists have observed that bonded parrots often become extremely defensive when outsiders approach their partner, because losing that bond could mean losing survival support. Now bring that instinct into a human home. Your parrot sees you as their flock, but if they've bonded strongly to one person, their brain interprets the relationship through that ancient system. Your partner isn't just your spouse or roommate. To your parrot, they might be a rival bird approaching their mate. And the instinctive response is simple: drive the rival away. So the next time your parrot flies across the room to chase someone away, Remember, you're watching a survival behavior that evolved long before humans kept parrots as companions. 5. They don't do this with everyone, and that matters. Have you noticed something strange? Your parrot might attack only one person, not strangers, not visitors, just someone specific. Most people assume it's about fear. But here's what's actually happening. Parrots rarely invest emotional energy into birds they don't care about. If your bird truly dislikes someone, they would usually avoid them. Aggression, on the other hand, often means the opposite. It means that person's presence affects the bond hierarchy. Think about that for a second. Your parrot isn't reacting to a stranger. They're reacting to someone inside the social structure, someone they see as a competitor for attention, affection, or time, which means the aggression is not random. It's targeted. Your bird is trying to control the relationship dynamics in the flock. And here's what makes this even more meaningful. This behavior usually appears only when a parrot feels deeply bonded to someone, which leads to the most important realization of all. 6. The attack is actually a sign of emotional dependence. This is the part most owners never realize. When your parrot attacks someone for getting close to their favorite person, your bird is revealing something extremely vulnerable: dependence. Parrots are emotionally complex animals. Animal cognition research shows that parrots have advanced social memory, recognizing individual flock members and tracking social relationships over time, which means your bird understands who spends time with who gets attention, who shares space. So when someone approaches the person your bird loves most, your parrot isn't just reacting instinctively, they're reacting emotionally. Your bird is afraid of losing the bond they rely on. Think about that for a second. That bite, that lunge, that scream across the room. It might not be aggression, it might be anxiety. Your parrot is saying something very simple in the only language they have: don't take my person. And once you understand that, the behavior starts to make sense in a completely different way. 7. If it suddenly gets worse, pay attention now. Here's the warning most owners overlook. If your parrot suddenly becomes more aggressive toward a specific person, don't ignore it, because that spike often signals hormonal season. During breeding periods, parrots experience dramatic hormonal changes that intensify parabond instincts. Researchers studying captive parrots have observed that aggression toward perceived rivals often increases during these periods. Your bird becomes more protective, more reactive, more defensive of their chosen partner. And this is where most owners get it wrong. They punish the bird or force interactions. But from your parrot's perspective, that only confirms the threat. The healthier response is to balance attention, reduce nesting triggers, and avoid reinforcing exclusive pair bonds with one person. Because the goal isn't to break the bond, it's to expand the flock. So when your parrot attacks that one person in your house, do you actually know what it means? It isn't random aggression. It isn't a bad bird. It's the result of bonding, jealousy, instinct, and emotional attachment colliding inside a creature that evolved to form incredibly strong social relationships. Your parrot isn't just defending territory, they're defending a bond they believe is theirs. That's not simple aggression, that's loyalty mixed with fear of losing connection. And that bite, that scream, that sudden lunge across the room, it was never random to them, and it shouldn't be random to you either.